Let us continue with the sedimentary cycles. Now in sedimentary cycles we have discussed about phosphorus cycle. Now we will discuss about sulfur cycle. Right. Now I will explain the sulfur cycle first in a schematic diagram, then I will go into the details, right? Then schema will be very useful for you to understand. Now normally you can observe sulfur in atmosphere, right? So atmospheric sulfur, mainly atmospheric sulfur will be in the form of SO2, right? Now this atmospheric sulfur will reach earth surface through precipitation, through rainfall, right? Now they reach the terrestrial ecosystems, your earth, right? And through runoff they reach your marine ecosystem or aquatic ecosystem. We will take it as marine ecosystem. Runoff is nothing but your leaching process, marine ecosystem. Now in this marine ecosystem, this atmospheric sulfur, which is of sulfur SO2, will be converted to marine sulfate, right? Marine sulfate will be converted to marine sulfate. Now SO4 2 minus, right? These are sulfate ions, right? Now this sulfate ions through oceans they form pyrites. Pyrites means sulfate blocks, right? Now again this pyrites through decomposition they are formed as hydrogen sulfide. Now this hydrogen sulfide, this hydrogen sulfide through decomposition, that is what we explained here. Through decomposition they are converted to atmospheric sulfur and they reach the atmosphere, right? And also through decomposition from terrestrial ecosystem, this hydrogen sulfide will be converted to sulfur. And your volcanic eruptions also lead to formation of sulfur, and through these volcanic eruptions also they reach the atmosphere, right? And human emissions also release sulfur which reach the atmosphere. Human emissions also lead to release of atmosphere. Now this is the basic schema of sulfur cycle. Now see here how the atmospheric sulfur moves down to terrestrial ecosystem and marine ecosystem, how they are converted to sulfate ions, and again by decomposition they are converted to hydrogen sulfide and then to atmospheric sulfur, again movement of sulfur to the atmosphere, right? This is the schema. Now Let us discuss the basic characteristics now. So I'll discuss in the same schema, then you can understand it clearly. Now, what is the basic characteristics of sulfur? Now, every protein needs disulfide bonds. Am I right or wrong? Every protein needs disulfide bridges. Disulfide bridges. Now, so that's why sulfur is the useful constituent, right? Useful constituent to make peptide bonds. Now, these disulfide bridges are helpful to form peptide bonds, right? And whose complex molecules are nothing but proteins. Now, in this way, sulfur is a main constituent, right? Now, biogenic sulfur produced on land by both sulfur oxidizing and sulfur reducing bacteria. Now see here, sulfur oxidizing by decomposition and sulfur reducing, they are formed as pyrites. Now these two pyrites again move to the atmosphere. Some volcanic eruptions also help to release atmospheric sulfur. Now this sulfur dioxide is also released through fossil fuel combustions. Right, and through metallurgy process, melting, that's likewise you call it as melting. Now these all are the main sources of sulfur deposition. Likewise in acid, right, sulfuric acid, your sulfur rains are the main reason due to this fossil fuel emissions, metallurgy and all the things, right? Now this schema is enough, right, for your clear explanation. Got the thing? Done? Yes. Let us go to the next concepts, right? Now by this, biogeochemical cycles are over. Now let us start the concepts of food chain, food web. Before going to the food chain and food web, let us see some prerequisites, some terms that will be frequently acquainted in this. Now the first term is trophic level. Now already we have seen this, but again I am explaining in detail regarding this trophic level. Now what do you mean by troph? Already we have explained this: nourishment or nutrients. Done. Now trophic levels are the feeding positions in a food chain in organisms, right? Now trophic levels are feeding positions in a food chain. In organisms such as your primary consumers, secondary consumers, primary producers, right? Food chain in organisms at different levels. Now this trophic level interactions involve three concepts. Now the first one is food chain, and the next one is food web, and the next one is ecological pyramids. Now we will discuss in detail regarding this food chain, food web and ecological pyramids. Right now, before going to this, I will write the schematic representation of this trophic levels. Right now, already we have given this feeding positions in a food chain in organisms is called trophic level. Now, what is the first trophic level? Which are nothing but your primary producers. Primary producers. Now, these are first trophic level. First trophic level. Here onwards, I will write it as TL. Okay. First trophic level TL. Now, what are this? Now, normally plants will be the primary producers, right? Right. Next, who will be the consumers of this primary producers? And they are called primary consumers. And they will be at second trophic level. Now, who are these primary consumers? Normally, who will eat these plants? Herbivores. Herbivores eat these plants. Now, these are the primary consumers. Now, these primary consumers are taken by, eaten by secondary consumers. Secondary consumers. Now, they are at third trophic level. Now, normally, who will eat these herbivores? Carnivores. Okay, we'll write it as carnivores. Now, who will consume the secondary consumers? They are called tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers. Now, they will be at fourth trophic level. And normally, who will be at terrestrial consumer level? Fourth trophic level? Top carnivores, right? Likewise, your lion, right? Tiger. This is the schema of the trophic levels, right? How the energy flows through one level to other level. Right now, let us discuss in detail regarding this food chain, food web, and ecological pyramids. Now, let us start with food chain. Food chain. Now, see here in the previous video, previous slide. Now, see here, this primary producers produce food by taking energy from the sunlight. Now, this is the point, basic point, from sunlight. Now, arrow mark must be in this way. They take energy from the sun. Done. What is food chain? Now, what is the basic definition of food chain? Now, a food chain is defined as unidirectional transfer of food energy from the primary producers to consumer through a series of organisms, right, with repeated eating and being eaten process. It is a sequence of who eats whom in an ecosystem to obtain nutrition. Now, I will summarize the things. What is food chain? Now, food chain is defined as unidirectional transfer of food energy from producer to consumer, producer to consumer, right? Now through a series of organisms, likewise your herbivores, through a series of organisms. Now this is the basic definition of food chain. Now this chain will help you to know whom eats who and what eats, I mean what type of food is taken by the organisms at that trophic level. Now again this can be simplifiedly explained as sequence of who eats whom, sequence of who eats whom in an ecosystem, to obtain nutrition, right? Now the next point, the food chain starts with the primary energy source, usually the sun, right? The next link in the chain is an organism which makes its own food from the primary energy source, and these are called autotrophs, right, or primary producers. The next organisms are those who eat the autotrophs, right? These organisms are called herbivores or primary consumers. This is what I explained in the previous thing, right? Now see here, the primary producers will take energy from the sun, right? Now the next, these primary producers are taken by primary consumers, and these primary consumers are consumed by secondary consumers, and these are called third trophic level carnivores. Now this is nothing but your schema of food chain, right? Now see here, I will explain this with an example so that's why you can have a clarity, right? Now observe here, plants by sunlight, by taking energy from the sunlight, right, from the water, right? Now, by the plants, they take energy from sunlight and water, right? Now these plants are eaten by primary consumers, right? These plants are eaten by primary consumers. Now shall I take it as grasshopper plants, grass, or the taken by grasshoppers, with an example, right? You can have a clarity of this. Now these grasshoppers are taken by, are consumed by secondary consumers. Am I right or wrong? Now let us consider frog as the secondary consumer, okay, which eats on grasshoppers, right? Now this secondary consumers are consumed by tertiary consumers. Now let us consider the example for tertiary consumer as snake. Yes, frog is consumed by snake. Now this snake is consumed by final consumer, right? Now let us consider this as hawk. or vulture or eagle. Final consumer. Right now, when this hawk or vulture is died, now this hawk is consumed by fungi or bacteria by decomposers. Am I right or wrong? Decomposers. Now automatically after decomposition, the dead organic matter is moved into the soil. Right now, this is the schematic representation of the food chain. Now got the point clearly? Right? Yes. Done. Now let us see the next concept called food web. Food web. Now what is food web? Now food web is a description of feeding relationships among species in an ecological community. Now food web, the exact definition of food web is, now it is a description of feeding relationships among species in an ecological community. Right now, what does this exactly means? That means who eats whom, right? It also means showing off energy material flow through a community of species, right? It also shows the flow of energy, that you can easily say by food chain also, right? Now the next point to be remembered in food web is trophic levels in an ecosystem are not linear. In food chain, they are linear and unidirectional. Trophic levels are not linear, right? And they are interconnected. They are interconnected to form a food web. Right now, next point to be remembered in food web. Now, food web offers an important tool for investigating the ecological interactions. Now, these food webs are helpful to find out the ecological interactions. And also the related energy flow through different ways. Right now, observe one more point to be remembered here. In food web, species are connected by line. Or arrow. which is known as link, and species are referred as node, and species are referred as node. Who gave this concept called food web first? Charles Elton gave the concept of food web. Charles Elton. Now, I will explain this food web in a schematic diagram, then you can have a clarity of this. Right? Now, observe here. I'll again explain here. Plants, now they take energy from sunlight and from soil nutrients. Right? Now these plants are taken by primary consumer. Now I will take it as grasshopper. Right? Now next observe here, this grasshopper is taken by rat, I mean consumed by rat. Now this grasshopper is taken by frog also. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Now this rat is eaten by snake. Likewise a python. Now observe this frog is also taken by snake. Yes, done. Now this snake is eaten by eagle. Now observe here, this rat can also be eaten by a wolf, right? Yes. Now this wolf can be eaten by snake, and this wolf can be eaten by eagle. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Now let us write different types of plant, then you can have it. Now these are, now this plant means grass. I'll take it as grass here. Now let us consider some other plants, flowering plants. Now let us consider one more, lavenders. Okay, I will consider one more plant, right? Like it was mangoes, right? No issues. All these are primary producers. Now these flowering plants, the pollen is eaten by butterfly. Am I right or wrong? Yes. They suck the honey. Am I right or wrong? Butterfly. Now these lavenders are also taken by butterfly. Now this butterfly is eaten by frog. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Now observe here, this mango can be on the mango, on this mango the pollen or the fruit can be taken by fruit fly. Now observe here, this fruit fly can be taken by dragonfly. Fine. Now observe here, this fruit fly can be directly eaten by frog. This dragonfly can be eaten by frog. Now this frog can be directly eaten by eagle. Now these eagle and one more, right? One more bird, right? Thrush, like I'll take it as thrush. Right? This thrush is eaten by eagle. and this thrush can is eaten by wolf. Now see here, is there any unilateral approach there? Now this interlinked relationships is nothing but called food web, right? Now this helps you to know the energy flow in different ways and how they are interlinked. This is what exact food chain means. Now see, this schema will be very helpful to you, right? Done. Now let us see the differences between food chain and food web, right? Food chain and food web. Food chain, then you can have a clarity on this. Most of your questions will be on this food chain and food web. Now food chain, it is an unilateral or unidirectional pathway. Unidirectional, or you can call it as linear pathway, right, which food travels through the ecosystem. Now food web consists of interconnected food chains. Interconnected, this is one of the point, at interconnected food chains, and they are not unidirectional or not linear. I can write it directly like this, interconnected. Now what is the next difference, right? Now usually members of higher trophic level feed upon single type of organisms, Now observing the schema, you can say this: feed upon single type of organisms of lower trophic level, Now what happens in food web? Members of higher trophic level members feed upon many organisms of lower trophic level, right? Trophic level means TL, I am writing as TL, right? Now see here, this isolated food chains or unidirectional food chains increases instability in the ecosystem. Now this food web, complex food webs or non-linear complex food webs, increases stability. Observe the difference there. It increases instability in food chain, it increases stability in food web, right? Now in food web, it doesn't help on adaptability and competitiveness. It doesn't help on competitiveness of organisms, but in food web it does help on adaptability and competitiveness of the organisms. Now these are the basic differences between food chain and food web. See, observe here, every year since 2009 there will be one question on this food chain and food web in your UPSC examination, and twice it was asked in your engineering service examination, right? Thank you.